This video is on converting fractions to decimals, and it is for Year 10 Foundation classes. What I would like you to do is read the knowledge organizer, watch this video and work through the examples on page 1 of that, try the questions from page 2, and then complete any Maths Watch work set. So, in this knowledge organizer, you're converting fractions to decimals and decimals to fractions. A lot of this will be straightforward, but I'll just be going through how to do it anyway. So if we want to turn 7/10 into a decimal, imagine you have your decimal point, you've got your tenths, you go hundredths, and then you go thousandths. So if it's 7/10, it means that there are 7 in the tenths column, so our number would be 0.7. If we've got 9 hundredths, it means there is 9 in the hundredths column, so we would turn our number into 0.09. And it's dead straightforward when our fractions are out of 10 and 100. When they're not, what we want to do is turn them so they are. So we want to make this so that the denominator is out of either 10 or 100 or 1,000, a multiple of 10, 100 or 1,000, and we want to turn it so it's out of that, and then we can convert it into a decimal. So if we have a look, 5 goes to 10 if we times it by 2. So we do the same to the numerator, and it becomes 8/10, which would give me 0.8. For this one here, we can turn 300 into 100. So we do that by dividing by 3. Now 3 also goes into the numerator. For this process, please make sure that the number that you divide in the denominator by also divides into the numerator. In this case it does. It gives you 41, so your answer would be 0.41 when you convert that into a decimal. Now, going the other way is exactly the same. If you imagine you've got 2/10, you've got 4 hundredths or 24 hundredths, so it becomes 24 out of 100. Then you simplify it where appropriate. So I can divide the top and the bottom by 2, that gives me 12 out of 50. Divided by 2 again, it gives me 6 out of 25. And that's all I have to do. For this one, we've got tenths, hundredths and thousandths, so it's out of 1,000, and we've got 25, and when we want to simplify this, 25 goes into both the top and the bottom, so you get 1/40 when you simplify it, because 25 goes into 1,000 40 times. Now, the most complicated ones are when it is not easy to make the denominator out of 100, or out of 10 or 1,000. So what we do is we treat this as a divide. So we go 1 divided by 8, and what we're going to do is we're going to put 8 on our outside, and we're going to use the bus stop method. So I say, how many times does 8 go into 1? It goes in 0 times with 1 remainder. How many times does 8 go into 10? It goes in once with 2 remainders. How many times does 8 go into 20? It goes in twice. 2 times 8 is 16 with 4 remainders. Then I say, how many times does 8 go into 40? 5 times with no remainders. I stop once I have no remainders. So my decimal value for 1/8 is 0.125. I have another example of doing this for 3/11. Now this one again is a little bit more complicated because we have 11 on the bottom, but I'll get to that in a second. So we do the same thing. We're going to do 3 divided by 11. You're going to put it into your bus stop. You're going to have 3 here. Notice that the number that you're dividing by goes on the outside. Sometimes we get these the wrong way around. The top number is less than the bottom number. The numerator is less than the denominator. So you're going to have a value less than 1 when we do this. Now, I don't know how many decimal places I'm going to have. I don't know what decimals are going to come out. I've put 4 decimal places down. In the last one I put 3. It is up to you. If you need more decimal places, you add zeros on the end. You say, how many times does 11 go into 3? It goes in no times with 3 remaining. How many times does 11 go into 30? You put your decimal point. It goes in twice with 8 remaining because 11 times 2 is 22. You then say, how many times does 11 go into 80? It goes in 7 times with 3 remaining. How many times does 11 go into 30? 2 with 8 and then 7. Now you should notice there's a pattern here. My decimal for 3/11ths is going to be 0.272727 because if I was to keep doing this, my number would go on forever. So we write this as a recurring decimal. So we can say it is 0.27 and we put the recurring decimal points over where the number begins and where it ends. Because there is only 2 numbers that are recurring, you put them over the first and the last. If I had said 0.216216, that would be wrote as 216 with the decimals over the 2 and the 6. But we put them over this here. That is how you would convert this from a fraction into a decimal without using a calculator. What I would like you to do is use this to complete the questions on page 2 of the Knowledge Organiser and any Maths Watch work set. Thank you.